Why is choosing your RV chassis so important? You're listening to the RV Life Podcast. I'm Dan Hunt with my incredible wife, Patty Hunt, sitting right next to me here. We are live from America's largest RV show, the Hershey RV Show, and we are guests in the Freightliner Custom Chassis Tent. What a great place to be, I got to tell you. We're on our bottoms instead of on our feet, walking around this huge location, hundreds and hundreds of RVs here, lots of barbecue sauce. We even have, who is that? Chick-fil-A has a truck here. Wow. We've got everything at the Hershey RV Show, which is America's largest RV show. I'm Dan Hunt again with my incredible wife, Patty Hunt. And
we have been on the road for over 2.5 years. And I got to be really honest, I had no idea how important the chassis is on our motorhome. We have a 2002 Monaco Diplomat, so 20 years old, time to turn her in for something new. And I've learned so much about the importance of an RV chassis. And that's what we're going to share with you today, because I think it's probably the number one thing that people need to know before they buy a motorhome.
Until I get that horn, and that sound means it's time for today's fun fact, brought to you by Open Road Resorts, with 4 great locations in Montana, Utah, and Texas.
And these guys do campgrounds right. I've got to tell you, we talked to Chase Becker, who is the owner of Open Road Resorts. The 4 locations sound amazing. Montana, Utah, you probably have to wait till next spring, summer, because they're probably getting ready to close. It's getting cold up there. But we are going to the Texas location, which is in Dallas, and I can't wait to bring you some pictures. Seems like an amazing place. Now let's get to the fun fact. Chassis is essentially the foundation vehicle that your motorhome is built upon. It includes the cab, the engine, and all the underpinnings. The home is the living area built onto the chassis. I've got these guys here. Did I get that right?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's your fun fact.
Now, I have to tell you, as somebody who has owned RVs my entire life, I used to have a fleet of rental RVs. That is something that I did not really know and understand until Tampa last year at the Tampa RV Show, when I met Jeff, the president and CEO of Freightliner in Tampa. Now, I got to tell you, he changed my outlook on RV. Like I don't even look at an RV. We knew we wanted a Tiffin. We knew that we wanted a certain model of that Tiffin. And now we don't. We now want a Monaco. No, not a Monaco. That's what we have. We have a Monaco.
A Newmar.
We want a Newmar on a Freightliner chassis with that tag wheel in the back. What a great thing that tag wheel in the back is. It's got to be the steering tag wheel in the back. Am I describing it correctly?
Absolutely.
Brian, okay.
We're going to.
That thing is incredible. I drove one of these at the Seattle RV Show, and you know how tight these RVs are out there. Well, I was able, the first time getting in this 44-foot RV, for the very first time, I got in that thing, and I was able to move that out with about a foot in the front and a foot in the back. I was able to just take it right outside. What I should have done is just drove out on the road and kept on going, because that was a beautiful, beautiful RV that we were in.
You're getting really excited here. We're going to jump into all of this. I am grateful for all the people that we meet, being at the Freightliner booth, and all the things that we've learned. That is our purpose in the podcast, is to bring you this incredible information.
Okay.
When traveling in your RV, how do you navigate? Do you use a paper map, a GPS, or do you use Google Maps? Our sponsor, RV Trip Wizard, has the solution, and it just works.
It just works. Every time we get in our RV, we have a plan, and that plan comes from RV Trip Wizard. You know, I'm not driving a little Volkswagen out there. I'm not driving a little Fiat out there. I'm driving a 44,000-pound 40-foot RV. And you got to know what you're doing. You got to know what bridges you have coming up. You got to know what tunnels you have coming up. I show a video in our seminar here where an RV went under a train trestle and just took the whole top of it off of there. So it's really, really, really important. You're listening to the RV Life Podcast.
Come on in and have a seat.
This is the RV Life Podcast. I'm Dan Hunt with my incredible wife, Patty Hunt. And our guest today, well, this company was established in 1995 and is trusted by the most respected names in the RV, walk-in van, and commercial bus, not to mention the school bus industries. Freightliner Custom Chassis Corporation is a leading manufacturer of premium vehicle chassis. As part of the Daimler family, Freightliner Custom Chassis shares the heritage and engineering excellence of Freightliner, Mercedes-Benz, and leveraging the expertise of heavy-duty durability and precision performance to infuse each and every one of their chassis with the best of all worlds. That is a lot. Now, from Freightliner today, we have two guests with us. We have Bryan Henke and Jeremy
Henke.
And Jeremy Buckmeier.
We want to welcome
I'm close enough.
We want to welcome you both to the RV Life Podcast.
And look over to that side because our social media person is over there taking pictures right now. So everybody's got to smile. That's right.
Okay. So, again, welcome two of you to the RV Life Podcast. We're so grateful to have you on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
I'm going to get right into it. And I'm going to be one of my listeners that doesn't know a lot about RVs.
That's me.
Okay, her.
Me. You're talking to me.
Why, and I sat at dinner with your CEO and talked to him about this. And I'm like, Jeff, why are you even here at an RV show? What are you doing? And I got to tell you, so the first question is, why is that chassis so important in your decision-making process?
A lot of people don't understand the difference between the body and the chassis. The body side, if you have a challenge with a cabinet door or something like that, it's not going to ruin a vacation. If you have a problem with the chassis, it's going to impact your vacation, that your lifestyle. You've saved up all this time, you're taking vacation, and a chassis can turn that into a bad experience. So a good chassis that has the backing and the serviceability behind it is crucial to a successful trip.
Okay. So now I'm going to go back. In the beginning, I kind of talked about what the chassis covered, but I want you to also explain that for our listeners. I thought the chassis was just this big metal frame. I mean, I'll be honest. I saw it here at the show last year. How many people thought that? Anybody with me on that? Okay, people are saying yes. It's a podcast. I could say they're saying yes. So talk about what the chassis includes.
So, when you look at it here at the show, you see frame rails, nothing super sexy, right? But it is really the key foundation. Once the bodybuilder puts some of their structure on it, that is going to create that solid foundation. We control at FCCC the engine, transmission, wheels, tires, gauges, steering wheels, all of the key components that you would typically not take advantage of or not think of. When you buy a car, it's all the same manufacturer, right? You buy a Toyota, everything on the vehicle is a Toyota. So customers really need to understand, and that's what we're here for, is to educate them. Where does the chassis stop and where does the body side come into play? So that way, if you run into a scenario, you can educate yourself on, hey, do I call Freightliner Custom Chassis or do I call the bodybuilder? That's very important. And, at FCCC, we've got a call center that's 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We have great partnerships with all of our bodybuilders, and our technicians on that call can help decipher the difference. So we can be that first call in line of defense, and we can help navigate that. So that's where we really come into play.
We don't take that lightly when we talk about the support element of it, because It's expensive. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort to actually have factory direct support 24 hours a day by factory trained people who have had an average 18 to 20 years of experience. That's who you want to talk to. And that's exactly what this RV experience is all about. They want to make sure there's somebody there. It's not a third party. It's not a call center after hours. We're the only ones that can actually provide factory direct support 24 hours a day. And that's what the peace of mind is what an RVer is looking for.
And that's
for the life of the coach.
That's true.
okay
So
for the life
first
of the
owner, second owner.
That's not 1,000, 5
Yeah,
years,
it's
100,000 miles.
With the
That's
warranty. No, that's the life of the coach. So anybody that
Yeah.
bought our first coach in '95 can call this call center.
And I will say that from my standpoint, whether it's something on a coach, now Monaco's not around anymore, so we can't call them, but when you buy something, when people buy anything, they want to be able to talk to somebody, and that happens less and less. So to know, I just want to reiterate, you said 365 days a year,
Yep.
24/7, because we know our major problems happen at 9 o'clock on a Sunday, on a holiday, in the rain on the side of the road. So that is something that people absolutely have to take into consideration when they're making a purchase.
Absolutely.
Now, I do want to say to our listeners right now that we, the RV Life Podcast and Dan and Patty Hunt personally, are not affiliated with Freightliner. But I got to tell you, these are the guys, and we only would affiliate with customers and companies that have the structure that we see at Freightliner. You know, I sat at dinner about 7 months ago at Tampa with Jeff, the CEO of Freightliner, and Casey, the CEO of Newmar. And we were talking about this exact issue about who do you call? And Casey said almost 80% of our calls originate from Freightliner. So if you got a problem, if I've got a problem, you know, we did something, and you can go over to our YouTube channel and look at this if you want to laugh at Patty and I for a while. We were boondocking on a farm here in Pennsylvania, and it rained 6 inches in 2 days. That's a lot of water on a farm. And we sunk right down to the axles. So we were all the way down. And Jeff's like, well, you should have called us. Well, we're not a Freightliner. We had a Monaco, and Monaco was building their own chassis at the time that happened. But I will say that when we finally did, we tried to fix it ourselves and just made it worse. When we finally did call somebody for some help to come in, and you'll see it in the video if you go over to the YouTube channel. We'll put a link to it in the show notes as well below. But we burnt up the first tow truck that came out to pull us out. I mean, a 44,000-pound RV, a 40-foot RV, they send us out an F-350 with a tow thing on the back. That didn't work out for him very well. So he burnt up his clutch completely trying to tow us out. And then they sent us one of these big boys that really just kind of pulled us out like butter. But Jeff made it very clear to me that if something like that ever happened, and we have our next coach, which is going to be a Newmar on a Freightliner chassis with that third tow wheel, because I love that thing. Jeff made it very clear that you're the first call.
Absolutely.
And then on top of that, I want to get into something. I'm going off of script a little bit here, but I see it over on the side. I sat in on your fireside chat. You're here to educate. That you have these fireside chats every afternoon while we're at this show and at some of the other shows as well. But you're here to educate.
We're here to answer questions, obviously from a product standpoint, but education on understanding your RV to the extent that you want. If you're not a mechanic, you don't need to know everything, but you might need to know at least the basics, right? Because we buy an RV to enjoy the RV lifestyle. You don't need to be. I really get frustrated when someone says, well, I read every manual and I highlighted stuff. It's like you're doing it wrong. You know what I mean? Just fully understand we're here to support you, give a little education, but enjoy the RV lifestyle. That's exactly why you purchase your motorhome.
Yeah, and again, we're not here selling. We've got our customers. We're here to support the retail consumer that has the questions. Bryan and his team on the marketing side, yes, we do the fireside chat, which is, kind of walks you through some maintenance type stuff. But they also do a seminar that's know before you buy. It has nothing to do with chassis. We are here to educate consumers. what's the right product for you as a consumer? It might be a Class B. We don't sell those. It might be a Class C. We don't sell those. We're really here to truly educate the consumer to make the best purchase decision, to make the best educated decision on whatever it is they're here to inquire.
We truly believe that. I mean, Jerry and I have 50 years of RV experience sitting right here. And we're a steward of the industry. Not only obviously building a product, but we're stewards of this industry. We're invested in this industry. And that's obviously why we do the education side of it, informing people when they come to these shows.
And I love that. I was an educator for 20 years. So to me, that's the most important thing. We talk to a lot of people that are just getting started. They don't know where to start. They don't know what we want. I've had people come up and say, what's the best RV for me? I have no idea. We have a Class A. For a family, it might be a fifth wheel. So education is incredibly, incredibly important. And you brought up maintenance. So how important is that? I mean, you said people sit down, they either read all the manuals, they spend so much time doing that, trying to figure it all out for themselves, or you have people on the other side that get on the road, they don't do anything. And it's confusing. It's a confusing spot. So do you talk to people? Somebody buys an RV with a Freightliner chassis. Do you talk about maintenance?
Absolutely. So that is the other key point that we try to do at these shows. And Bryan does a lot online, try to make sure consumers are educated. It is so important because diesel pusher, motorhome, or S2 product, a lot of consumers aren't familiar with diesel products or air ride, air brake systems, and the air systems themselves. So this morning I actually had a conversation with a gentleman who was mechanical and familiar with vehicles. He actually had a friend of his come to him with a problem with his coach. His coach was 20 years old. He's like, well, have you ever had your air dryer serviced? The guy's like, what are you talking about? I've never had his air dryer serviced, which should be serviced every 3 years. And the guy's air system was not working. So you don't have brakes, you don't have any of that. So that's
important
what
stuff.
we want.
Wait. You mean his air horn didn't work?
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of the whole darn coach is that air horn up on top.
Yeah.
And when we do education, obviously we do it in steps, right? So when we're here at the Hershey Show or any other show, we do obviously a little fireside chat. So there's a reason why we call it a fireside chat, because it's just a short little educational thing. But one thing I do want to talk about is at the factory or virtual is our Camp Freightliner. Our Camp Freightliner is a very in-depth 2-day course for someone who really wants to understand everything. And we actually do it virtually if you can't come to the factory. But when you're at the factory, get the full immersion of Freightliner and our trainer, Wade Scruggs, is leading the class. But the Camp Freightliner is probably the most popular training session out there, and it's been like that for 20 years. So I highly recommend if somebody wants to deep dive into it, Camp Freightliners.
Okay, I want to hear more about that because, and again, I've been here for days. I heard a little bit about that, but explain to people, what Camp Freightliner, I love the name, Camp Freightliner is. You got a cheat sheet there. Yeah. Hey,
Thank
whatever
you for
works.
exposing me.
Because it offers so much, you can't possibly remember.
So obviously, Camp Freightliner, we do about 18 to 20 classes per year, and they're in person. We do 4 in person per year. We do 4 virtuals, but we go to rallies. So if you go to an FCOC or Freightliner Custom Chassis Owners Clubs, we do Camp Freightliners there, Newmark Country Coach Rally, Thor rallies. And from a maintenance tip standpoint, it's huge. We go literally step by steps through everything and care and understanding everything from the air system to electrical to tire care to engine to transmission, really understanding that. And we actually recommend that your co-pilot comes with you, typically your wife. Why? Because we want to make sure that they both fully understand what's going on. And believe me, the guys love it, right? But the women really, or the co-pilot really does understand it a lot, and they do a good job of helping the husband out and things of that sort. So it's extremely in depth, and highly recommend it.
So, Bryan, I'm just going to say before, there is a lot to it. You do need notes because there's a lot of information. We were just invited, I didn't tell Dan yet, by Jeff to go to the Freightliner Corporation. So we were invited to go there. So I hope we'll be there while there is Camp Freightliner because I think it's such a great idea. Go ahead, Jeremy.
The big thing about that class is we limit it to a certain number of coaches. And Wayne does research on your specific VIN when you sign up, and he will create a book for your specific VIN. So when he's talking to the group, he's not going to be talking about stuff that doesn't pertain to anybody in the group. It's very specific. And he gets applause all the time from both pilot and co-pilot because he puts it in terms that even a stupid sales guy like myself can understand. So just it's phenomenal. I've never heard a bad thing about it, and the price is right. So it's good.
Exactly.
He's not even here and he's getting applause today.
That's great. Again, we buy these great big RVs. Most of us in most states don't even need a license. To drive a motorcycle, you need a license. We're doing a 40-foot with a tow car, no license. I won't say it. Anybody could do it. It's kind of scary. And then you have maintenance. And we were talking. We won't mention names, but somebody that not once but twice their lithium batteries caught fire because people are getting out there and they want to do it. And they want to live the lifestyle, but don't necessarily have the knowledge. So you guys are doing that in a way that people can actually go in and handle it. When I think of going in and learning about an engine and the electricity, I'm a little worried. But you sounded like I could go in and really learn something.
So also to align with that, if you go through the class, you have that knowledge, but many times someone needs a reminder or I want quick reference type things. And 8 years ago, we launched a 24/7 Direct app. But just the last couple of years, we launched my 24/7 Direct app. It's on Apple and Android. That actually has a feature called My Maintenance. You put your coach information in, everyone here in the audience, put your coach information into it, and actually tells you when you need your maintenance done. And that's the My 24/7 app, along with understanding where Freightliner dealers are, quick tip, little videos. So that's great because someone's like, I need to call 24/7. I need to call the factory, 24/7 Direct Factory. Everything's done with your phone. It's a one push. You don't have to be looking through books for numbers. So I highly recommend that. And again, you notice what it is. It's not a sales app. It's my 24/7 Direct support. And we've just went to the next iteration, helping you with your maintenance and letting the app tell you when you need maintenance done. So highly recommend everyone downloading that.
You're listening to the RV Life Podcast. We've got to take a break right now, but after the break, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about service. We're going to talk about education. We're going to talk about innovation. We could be here all day. We are at the Freightliner booth in Hershey, Pennsylvania, at America's largest RV show, the Hershey RV Show. And we'll be back right after this.
Does dropping your motor coach off at the truck stop full of semi-trailers for new tires give you nightmares? Eliminate the unknown and get your new motorhome tires mounted while you watch at your campsite or wherever you are parked. Motorhometires.com takes care of the entire process for you. We come to you with your new tires, mount them, add balance beads, and we even dispose of your old tires. With motorhometires.com, you'll also enjoy great prices and new tires with guaranteed fresh date codes, and enjoy sweet dreams instead of truck stop nightmares with your friends at motorhometires.com.
Protecting your RV investment means being ready for anything. An extended RV warranty from Wholesale Warranties is the best way to make sure that if an RV failure happens, you can afford to get back to enjoying the RV life as soon as possible. affordable. RV warranties are available for motorhomes, fifth wheels, and travel trailers, new and used, across the U.S. Visit wholesalewarranties.com for a free personalized RV warranty quote today and hit the road with peace of mind tomorrow.
I will tell you what, being a part of the National Indoor RV Centers family is incredible. Their team is just one of the best teams I've ever seen. Now, they are the number one Newmar dealer in the country. They're also the number one Integra dealer in the country. They sell a lot of Freightliner chassis. But what I really like about them, it's almost the same thing that I like about Freightliner. From the CEO down, there is a feeling amongst their employees that Freightliner isn't just who I work for, it's who we are. It's part of my life. I am a part of this family. And that is so important to Patty and I as we forge relationships within this RV industry.
So before we went to break, Jeremy, you wanted to respond. So
yeah, we talked a little bit about Camp Freightliner. I just wanted to reiterate, sometimes people think, oh, well, I'm not going to do my own service. Bryan had alluded to this. People that take this class, it's not, some of them do want to do their own service, but most of them don't. And the benefit of this class is when you do go to a service center to get it done, you have a good idea of what they're doing or what they're not doing, and you can recommend what they need to do because you've been educated. So this class is designed for all.
I'm going to go with the knowledge is power, because while I'm not going into the engine and fixing it, knowing something about an engine on my car, if I walk in and they say you need a new transmission and I have some knowledge, I might be able to say, well, wait a minute, especially as a female, in all honesty. So knowledge is definitely power in that. And I think that's great. The more we know, the better we're going to be able to, whether we fix it or not. We try and fix a lot, although not the diesel engine. We don't do that.
Now, Bryan, I want to get back into this At Your Service app. That app actually talks to my RV and tells you, or the app, how many miles I've driven, how my oil is doing, blah, blah, blah.
That's the 3.0 version. This is the 2.0 version. But what you need to do is when you do the app, you can put in simple information of your chassis, and there's algorithms that actually you hit start, and the algorithms then tell you when you need service being done. But obviously, the next generation to that, looking into the future, is truly having your RV connect from a maintenance standpoint live, real time to a mobile device. And that's something that's down the road. But right now, this is information in, hit go, and it'll tell you when you need service done.
Where's Jeff? I'm going to take credit for bringing that one in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, Jeremy, let's talk a little bit about service. You have service centers all over this country. There's a map over there that it looks like a campground map of the United States. There is service centers everywhere.
Yeah. So it's, we've got the top-notch service network. We've got more service network throughout the country than anybody else in this industry. While we realize some of them do a phenomenal job, love RVs, there are some throughout the country that aren't. We go back to our 24/7 call center. Call us, get us involved, and we can help direct those situations. But there is nobody that can service the network of RVs that Freightliner can. The other huge advantage is our parts distribution centers. So there's not another partner in the industry that has, we got 10, 11 parts distribution
10 right
centers
now
throughout the country. What that means is when you go to a Freightliner dealer, you can get that part sometimes within the same day, if not the next day, and get your coach and rig up and running as quickly as possible.
Huge investment in the experience of an RVer. Obviously, we use it for our nationwide. Daimler Trucks is the largest producer of commercial vehicles in the world as part of that. But just imagine being in, and we know nothing's worse is when you're down, you're like, it's going to take 2 weeks to get that part. These parts distribution centers literally can get parts same day or next day, which is really critical if it's not in stock.
Okay, Jeremy, I'm going to talk to you on this one. Bryan yesterday was doing an education session, and I'm going to say he had half the room walk out. Now today we had one
Wow.
walkout, but I got to
Yeah.
walk in at the same time. So I'm at a zero
I
right now.
appreciate that, Dan. Thanks.
Again, Brian's being thrown under the bus.
That's right.
He will
I
never
will
be
say
on.
though, it was probably 90 degrees in this tent yesterday when we were doing it, so it was warm. So, but let's talk about education. And watch, it's going to be his question anyway. Let's talk about education. What are the things that Freightliner does to educate not only the customer but the potential customer as well?
Yeah, I'm going to throw that in Bryan. It's really Bryan's realm, but we covered a ton of it already.
Jeremy, you're killing me, man. You're killing me.
So when we're going through the RV experience, or actually I want to get into the RV world, right? It can be overwhelming, but if you actually, our goal is to give you steps throughout the whole process. And we love helping out customers on educating what you want to do with your motorhome. If you just want to be a weekender or a full-timer, we kind of help you through that experience, educate you, what do you want to do with your motorhome, and actually help you decide on the type of motorhome that you want. And then once you actually get that motorhome, it's all about the training, and we really don't want you to be frustrated with, oh, I don't know what's going on. There's so much availability of understanding training, understanding your chassis and things of that sort that we have after the purchase. But quite honestly, I love our job when it comes to, and I've had customers like this. I had one customer that was in Florida that I helped him buy a motorhome 21 years ago. And it actually makes me chilled when I literally helped him through the whole process to the point where him buying it, owning it, to the point where he actually retired the motorhome. 21 years. And it was fantastic. I wish I had more of those, but we feel that's really close to us. We really want to help a customer through that whole experience.
Okay.
Now, wait. How long have you personally been with
27 years.
27 years. So you started with Freightliner when you were 12 years old.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that.
That's what I was going to say. You said 21 years. Yeah, we got to make up for something here. Again, as an educator, and the fact that we're full-timers, I feel like, okay, I'm full-time. If my coach is out for 2 weeks because somebody can't get a part, that's my home.
Right.
But for the people who are part-time, and most people are, if they have that week vacation, the last thing they need is something going wrong and having to wait for the part, figuring out what it is. And the other thing, we do a lot of the maintenance and the repairs and can get back on the road. And having that education, it's just priceless. I know we've talked about it, but
and even now that and I actually had a great conversation here earlier about a customer that he's 6 months in storage and 6 months out. And he's had his coach for 5 years or something of that sort. But I literally went, okay, when you bring it out of storage or it's in storage, are you doing A, B, C, and D? And he's not doing half of it. He's like, wow. Just to make sure that when you do pull it out of storage, it's ready to go. Or the tips, when you bring it out of storage, what to check it over before you go out on the road. That's all part of Camp Freightliner also. So we have, when you put it into storage, how to put it into storage, take it out of storage. And then always when you're out operating it, things you should do when you're out operating it. So, but actually understanding that this heavy duty piece of equipment, which it really is, when it's in storage, right? There's things you need to check and prep before when you get it out of storage, right?
Yeah.
And you just can't put the key in and drive.
right.
So that's all part of that education
The
too.
mice get in there and chew the brake lines, you're in trouble.
Oh yeah.
I have talked to Jeff. Patty and I have a good relationship with Jeff. So we have traded you for 2 unnamed players. You're going to be coming with us for the next 3 months to tell Patty how to take care and maintain.
I have to bring
RV.
my wife though. She wants a road trip, so we got
we can work on that.
Figure it all out.
Thank you so much, Bryan. Now let's go to the last part that I promised before the break. We're going to talk about innovation. And I think something that you guys introduced yesterday here at America's largest RV show. We had a press event here, and it was really exciting. And I was talking to a lot of the press people that were really interested in what you guys put out. Patty walked away and said, I want that because I do not want to have those bumps when you throw on the brakes or when we hit that pothole. She said, I want that, and I want that tag wheel steering. So who's the best to talk? You did the intro, but okay.
We're going to tag team.
Jeremy?
So,
Okay.
That's probably, we love the education. We love working these shows and the education part of it. This is part of what we really enjoy. The other part that we really enjoy, and Bryan and I are both involved in, is the innovation part of it. So we've been innovating things for years. We introduced Drive Tech, which puts all the controls on the steering wheel, the Allison shifter, and everything's at your fingertips, the OptiView. What's been fun about what we're able to do at FCCC, because we're part of the Daimler network, is bring innovations that are specific to this industry and to our product. So where competitors, what they have to do is they have to buy off-the-shelf things. So they might have something that's a supplier that works well in the RV industry, but they're still just buying that. They're not developing that. We are developing things that are benefiting our products and ultimately benefiting the retail consumer, because that's why we do it.
Right.
So the launch the other day, which was 5-year labor of love, we fully understood that Ultra Steer, our tag axle, which Dan, you love.
Love.
That was back in 2013 or 2013. And then when we brought V-Ride, which was the drive axle, we developed that. It has a 10-year anniversary. It was time that when we fully understand that customers want the same ride and handling as a 45-foot coach all the way down to a 30-foot coach.
That's right.
And typically it's difficult. Really is difficult. So over the past 5 years, we literally said, we can't make this thing $1 million. Things are tight and things of that sort. So we launched V-Series. V-Series is literally a front and drive axle suspension system that work together, that acts and drives like an independent front suspension. It's actually a brand new category. We love it. And that's what we launched just the other day.
Okay.
So this is going to be something that Patty's going to want to drive the RV, but she does not drive our RV.
No, I don't. But what I'd like better is what you created. And again, the fact that you're listening to people and what, we're driving around in an RV. What do I want? We have a Class A RV because I like being able to go to the back, using the restroom, making our sandwiches and drinks, and hitting that pothole in it, not jerking the coach is huge. It's really important.
Absolutely.
So thanks for that innovation.
But it's literally 2 days old. But if anybody wants to know more about V-Series, just go out there and search V-Series. There's coaches actually here at Hershey that have them on it. And quite frankly, during the development work, our engineers did a fantastic job. Because when I first got in it and I started driving, I said, so this is the independent front suspension. And they're like, no, this is the V-Series. I'm like, yes, we did it. It was a fantastic experience. So.
And you gave us a really cool pin, too.
Yes, you like that. That's cool.
We like the cool pin. One of the things that we look forward to do with the RV Life podcast is to educate, entertain, and inform the RV audience. And a conversation like we're having today, to me, says all of these consumers are walking in, some people are stopping and looking outside the booth. We as consumers have a choice. And you want to do business with people that are reputable, people that want to do business with you, people that really care about their product. And that is something that I can say unequivocally. I talk for a living and I can't say that word. Unequivocally. Freightliner Custom Chassis Corporation, they really do. From the guy that sweeps the floor to the guy that puts up this tent and comes out to this event, to your social media person, cares about everything and every single customer or potential customer. That is so impressive to me. To have the CEO out here getting drinks for people while they're sitting out. In other companies, that just doesn't happen. This is the kind of company that you want to do business with, and that's what I feel very, very strongly about.
And I love the fact that, just to keep that going, anybody that's actually in South Carolina or in the Gaffney area, we welcome every day. We do plant tours every day.
We were just invited to one of these.
There you go. And
I'm coming to your office and sitting at your desk.
Absolutely. But when you go out to our team members that are out on the line, these are people that we've known for 25 some years. And you have no idea that when you see what they're doing, they're not just building a chassis. They're building somebody's dream. Every single one of them is somebody's dream. They're just not putting nuts and bolts together. And that resonates. And when a customer's coming through, they'll talk. They want to talk to you because they know that this is your dream. We're not building just regular old stuff.
Not just your dream, it's your life savings.
Exactly.
Too.
So,
it's the biggest investment that most people make besides their house. But if they've got one of these, that most of those people have gotten rid of their house.
That's why we always ask, if you're in the area, please stop in. We want to show you our home. So it's great.
I can't wait. We are looking forward to that. As we speak, because we were invited to come down, I'm redoing my travel plans to swing by there.
Now, that is my favorite thing on the RV, other than that tag wheel, but I don't have one of those. But on my RV, I do have that air horn, so I use it every time I cross a straight line. Every time I leave a campground, I let everybody in the campground know that I'm leaving, so I hit that. It doesn't matter if it's 5 a.m. in the morning, I still hit that air horn. But that air horn on our show means it's time for the RV Life Pro Tip of the Week.
And we're going to hear that pro tip from Patrick Buchanan.
Once you have your basic route picked out in RV Life Trip Wizard and have secured your campgrounds, it's time to add all those other stops you want to make. At this point, you don't need those campground icons filling up your map and getting in the way. You can easily toggle the campgrounds off by clicking the small tent icon in the upper right-hand corner. This makes it easier to focus on adding fuel stops, rest stops, places to eat or things to see, anything you wish to add to your trip. Just don't forget to click it again if you need to see more campgrounds. For RV Life, I'm Pat Buchanan.
Thank you, Patrick Buchanan. Another great tip. We use RV Trip Wizard. We use the RV Life suite of products because it really just works. We do not move our RV without RV Trip Wizard to make sure where we're going is where we should be going, right? We don't want to go off on those roads we should not be on.
Now, if you are here at the RV show, the America's largest RV show, if you're here, you want to stop by at 10 a.m.?
Yes, 10 a.m. for our fireside chat.
Fireside chat, where you can come in and sit down, listen to Bryan for a little while, get too hot, and then leave. And it doesn't bother Bryan at all. He loves to have people standing up and talking in front of his. But you're welcome to come in. I'll tell you what, I came in an hour early to get set up. You can see there's a lot of stuff that we have to set up. Well, I came in and sat and listened to his whole fireside chat. I learned more in that 1 hour than I've learned in the last 2 years RVing and actually going out there and doing it.
I mean, honestly, when you actually are around great people and you have well over 50 years of experience between our teams right here, you want to share that information with everybody. You want to, and there's things that we've learned over the years and things of that sort. You just want to share that with them, and that's the reason why we're full of knowledge.
And I just can't thank you guys enough for coming in. I saw this set up last year. I said, wow, that would be a great place to do a podcast. Now, last year, we didn't have the RV Life podcast. We actually cut the deal here at the Hershey Show to make the RV Life podcast a thing. Did our first one down in Tampa, and I will tell you, we are in the top 5% of all podcasts in the world. This podcast is. So we really are having a great time with it, and we appreciate all of you listening to the RV Life podcast.
And we're going to keep Bryan and Jeremy with us as we do our close, but we are going to go out. You're going to go out and get a question from the audience. Where's the horn? I don't push buttons. There it is. And
that sound means it's time for our question of the week. We don't have a sponsor for the question of the week, so we will say that it is brought to you this week by Freightliner Custom Chassis right here at the RV Life podcast. So,
as he goes out to the audience to get the question, we'll just talk amongst ourselves, right? How did these guys do for those of you who've been here for this? Jeremy and Bryan, let's give them a round of applause. These guys are great. Okay. You got a question?
Okay, so I am out in the audience, and I have an absolute random, we did not set it up at all, couple in the audience. So where are you guys from? From Pennsylvania. Where are you from?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Woo! Love me Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Born and raised.
Really?
They got that tram that goes up the side of the mountain.
Incline.
The incline, yeah, that was kind of cool. I did that, yes. Okay, so what is your guys' RV question of the week?
So my question of the week, since you guys have been timing for a while on RV, do you find it beneficial to join organizations like Thousand Trails or Boondockers, and does that help create a class of campgrounds?
Yes, and I'm going to take that. So when Dan and I first started out, we thought we didn't need those kinds of memberships. I'll be honest, just total transparent. But as we got out on the road and we saw the cost of campgrounds, we started looking at Harvest Host, Boondockers Welcome. They're similar. And we found that for us, Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome works really well. As we leave here and we head to Albuquerque, our first 4 stops are Harvest Host. They're places, unique places you could go overnight. Usually they don't charge. Sometimes they have hookups. Sometimes it's just pull in and park. But they're very unique, often really cool places to go. If you have specific questions, we could take those after the podcast. For Thousand Trails, again, we said, we probably don't need it. Our biggest mistake with Thousand Trails is we waited so long to get our membership, I'll be honest. Yeah, because we didn't have it at first. We started at the lowest membership. Again, Thousand Trails has campgrounds across the country. For us, being full-time, it works. And again, we could talk more about it. The big answer here is finding what works for you. How much are you traveling? Where are you traveling? What type of camping do you want? Somebody wants a boondock most of the time. Those two things, those memberships probably aren't necessary. So that's the overall answer. What kind of camper, what types of things are you looking for?
I'm also going to give a plug to our friends over at Escapees. So Escapees is where we get our mail. Then they scan it, I can look at it, but then they'll forward it to me if I need it. So Escapees RV Club, very, very helpful for those people getting out there. We also did our domicile through Escapees as well. Got shirts back there?
Okay, I'll get them, but why don't you take
I have
the
another
next
question in the back. Why do you have a shirt? Give me the shirts. Okay. I'm going to go to the back of the tent here, and I have another question for gentlemen. Where are you from? That's too bad.
He said New Jersey.
Exit 10 in Cape May, New Jersey. Okay.
Okay, my question is, how do I make it work as a GPS?
Here's how I'm going to answer that. There is a booth down on the floor because they can specifically stop and help you with that. They're not down there trying to sell. They're not salespeople. The tech guy is down there. Customer support is down there. The head of partnerships is down there. So if you go down there and you pull your phone out, they will show you how to do that. It's right down the steps. It's on that first row, big red booth. And they're there to help you. So that's an easy one.
Thank you so much.
For those of you who couldn't hear.
It's really good.
Yes, we love it. For those of you who couldn't hear it, he said that RV Trip Wizard is fantastic.
So tell them
We do
when you go
believe
down
that.
to that booth, it's on the floor down there. You go down to the booth, tell them that you are on the RV Life podcast asking a question, and Dan said that you should get a shirt, both of you. Okay?
Okay.
I don't have any here either, even though you sleep around.
Okay.
I will give you guys a shirt too. So if you guys just hang around for a minute. That's probably one of the greatest shirts that I've ever seen. And it's from RV
Easy, right?
RVZ. RVZ is who that shirt is from.
Yes.
Patty got that shirt, I'm going to say 2 years ago at a show. And when she wears it at an RV event, nobody cares. But when she wears it going to the local Wawa or the Little League game, the moms all get pissed off at her. I got to tell you.
It's not the right shirt. So here on the RV Life podcast, I've let Dan get up and walk around. Okay, so
I'm going to give you a mic back.
So I'm going to get him back to his seat so we could do the final wrap up. And again, I want to thank Bryan and Jeremy so much for.
And Jeff.
And Jeff. Oh, and Jeff, yes, because Jeff, the CEO, did invite us to come in. And I just want to thank everybody here so much for having us, your support, and what
Not
you're
that we're
doing.
keeping count, but that's +6.
And what you're doing for the RV community.
You're listening. You're listening to the RV Life podcast, where our audience continues to grow throughout the show each and every day. This is the RV Life podcast. I'm Dan Hunt with my incredible wife, Patty Hunt, reminding all of you to have a great rest of today.
And an even better day tomorrow.